Michigan is full of history, beautiful lakes, and charming towns, but it also has a spooky side. From haunted theaters to creepy asylums, the state is packed with ghost stories that have been passed down for generations. If you love the thrill of a good scare, here are some of the most haunted places in Michigan. Number 1. The Whitney House in Detroit, Michigan, is widely regarded as one of the city's most haunted locations. Built between 1890 and 1894 by lumber baron David Whitney Jr., the mansion was intended as a grand home for his wife, Flora. Tragically, Flora passed away before its completion. David later married Flora's sister, Sarah, and they, along with their children, moved into the house. David died of a heart attack in the mansion in 1900, and Sarah lived there until her death in 1917. Over the years, numerous reports of paranormal activity have emerged from the Whitney. One of the most frequently mentioned spirits is that of Flora, who is said to haunt the third-floor lounge, often seen sobbing near the women's restroom. David Whitney himself has been spotted in various parts of the mansion, particularly near the ghost bar on the third floor. The mansion's elevator is another source of eerie tales. Staff and visitors have reported it moving between floors without any passengers, and sometimes stopping on floors without being summoned. In the dining areas, utensils have been heard clinking and table settings rearranged without explanation. One staff member recounted seeing an older gentleman gazing out of a second-floor window who vanished upon being approached. The carriage house behind the main building is also reputedly haunted. David's daughter, Grace, used to enjoy tea there, and a tea set remains on a table by the window in her memory. It's said that when the tea set is moved, paranormal activity increases until the set is returned to its place. The mansion also served as a hospice for tuberculosis patients in the 1940s, and some believe the spirits of those who died there linger in the house. Today, the Whitney operates as a fine dining restaurant, embracing its haunted reputation with features like the Ghost Bar and offering ghost tours for those interested in its spectral residents. Number 2. The Old City Orphanage in Marquette, Michigan, is one of the most haunted places in the state. This large, brick building was once called the Holy Cross Orphanage or Holy Family Orphanage. It opened in the early 1900s and was run by Catholic nuns. Many children lived there, most of them orphans or kids whose families could not take care of them. On the outside, the orphanage looked like a safe and caring place. But inside, the story was very different. Many people believe that the building holds a dark past filled with pain, fear, and sadness. One of the most famous ghost stories linked to the orphanage is about a little girl who died in a snowstorm. The story says that she was caught outside in a blizzard and later passed away from pneumonia. After her death, the nuns placed her body on display so the other children could see what happens when rules are broken. Many believe her spirit still haunts the building today. People say they've heard crying, whispers, and footsteps when no one is around. The orphanage closed down in the 1960s and has been mostly empty ever since. Despite its age and quiet appearance, many believe it still holds the energy of the children who once lived there, especially those who suffered. Former staff, visitors, and ghost hunters have all reported strange sounds and sights. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures or felt cold spots in empty rooms. Others say they hear children's laughter, even though the building has been empty for years. Many say the sadness and fear that filled the orphanage long ago still lingers in the air. The combination of harsh punishments, strict rules, and lost young lives may have left behind strong energy. That energy, some believe, keeps the spirits trapped. Today, the building is closed to the public, but its ghost stories continue to live on, making the Old City Orphanage one of the most chilling haunted places in Michigan. Number 3. The Terrace Inn in Petoskey, Michigan, is known as a haunted place because of its quiet past, old stories, and many guest experiences. Built in 1910-11 by banker William Devall, the inn replaced small cottages and became a fancy hotel with modern comforts for that time. Even so, something dark seems hidden inside its walls. One of the oldest tales says 2 workers died during the building's construction. Since then, guests report eerie events and unusual energy. 3 main spirits are said to roam the building. First, a lady in white, thought to be Elizabeth Abbey Sweet, a pregnant woman who miscarried and died in room 211. Guests say they see her wearing light-colored clothes, appearing in hallways, or sitting in rooms. Sometimes, a man in tweed shows up on the balcony, as if searching or waiting. Many believe he's connected to the lady in white. Lastly, a boy is seen or heard in the basement area. Guests and staff have reported footsteps in empty corridors, doors opening by themselves, and voices echoing through the halls. In one case, a piano played even though no one was near it, and one group claimed to hear the sounds of a party when the building was quiet. Some rooms, especially 211, 308, and a few others, are listed as most active, with repeated reports of shadows and cold spots. Yet, despite the eerie tales, no one has ever been hurt, and many describe the ghosts as friendly or curious. In simple words, the Terrace Inn is haunted because of its century-old history, tragic events, and countless guest stories. The mix of a construction accident, possible tragic deaths, and a building nearly 115 years old creates strong feelings that many believe are from the past. Number 4. Henderson Castle is a grand, 25-room Queen Anne-style mansion built in 1895 for wealthy businessman Frank Henderson and his wife Mary. Just 4 years after moving in, Frank died in 1899. Mary lived on until 1907. The castle now sits across from Kalamazoo's largest cemetery, adding to its eerie feel. From the moment it opened as a bed and breakfast, guests and staff have reported strange events. Many people say they regularly hear footsteps in empty hallways, doors open or close by themselves, and cabinets shift without any touch. Doors creaking on a quiet night, and even a piano playing when no one is present, are common tales. Some of the most famous spirits are the original owners. Frank's ghost is said to sometimes appear near the grounds, while Mary is often seen on or near the grand staircase and in the mansion's Victorian room. A lady in white, perhaps Mary or another unknown woman, has been photographed drifting through the halls. There are also stories of other figures. A Spanish-American War veteran named Claire Burla was a friend of the Henderson family. He is said to roam some of the upper rooms. Guests sometimes feel a ghost dog jump onto their bed, and a little girl's spirit is reported in the third-floor ballroom, where a stain of her name still remains on a beam, despite repainting. People who tour with paranormal investigators often collect EVPs, recorded voices that seem to say words like "go away." Cold spots, taps on shoulders from unseen hands, and flickering lights are all part of the reported experiences. It's no surprise that Henderson Castle hosts monthly haunted history dinners and ghost tours. Many guests say the spirits feel friendly, not harmful. In simple words, a mix of tragic deaths, an old mansion full of memories, and countless guest-reported spooky incidents creates strong belief that Henderson Castle is truly haunted. Number 5. Soulshwa Point Lighthouse near Gulliver was built in the 1890s to guide ships through dangerous parts of Lake Michigan. But it's not just the roaring waves that give visitors chills. Many believe the keepers who lived and died there never left. The most well-known spirit is Captain Joseph Willie Townsend, the lighthouse keeper from 1902 until his death in the upstairs bedroom in 1910. Because winter ground was frozen, his body was embalmed and kept in the basement or parlor while waiting for family to arrive. Visitors often smell cigar smoke inside the house, even though smoking indoors is now banned. This scent is linked to Townsend, who was known for smoking cigars. His wife never allowed him to smoke indoors, so people say his ghost now enjoys what was once forbidden. Other eerie happenings include silverware left tines up suddenly flipping over, disembodied footsteps on stairs, doors swinging on calm days, and odd vapor or shadowy faces in mirrors and windows. Paranormal investigators, including authors like Kathleen Tedson, have noted Sul Schwa as one of Michigan's most compelling haunted spots. In simple terms, Sul Schwa Point Lighthouse is believed haunted because of the tragic death and delayed burial of its keeper, the strange smells and sounds that continue, and repeated guest and investigator reports. These elements combine to create a real sense that history, and perhaps spirits, still walk through its hallways. Number 6. The Landmark Inn in Marquette, Michigan, originally known as Hotel Northland when it opened in 1930, is one of the city's most talked about haunted locations. Many of its ghost stories also tie into a specific room, the 6th floor, Lilac Room. This room is said to be haunted by a heartbroken librarian who lost her sailor love in a storm on Lake Superior. Guests claim to hear disembodied voices, experience cold spots, see flickering lights, and feel like they're being watched. According to local legend, this librarian waited every evening for her sailor in her lilac patterned dress until she took her own life as grief overtook her. Staff members have even reported phone calls coming from the empty room, and guests staying there often tell stories of furniture moving and strange sensations. One couple reported seeing a teenage girl in period clothing standing in their room with her arms crossed, so vivid that the wife felt anxious and refused to stay the night. Another guest recounted his phone flying 5 feet off the nightstand during the night, as whispers echoed in his ear. The inn's long history and prestigious guest list, hosting famous figures like Amelia Earhart, Duke Ellington, and Louis Armstrong, adds to its atmosphere. In simple terms, the Landmark Inn is believed haunted because of its grand, century-old charm, a tragic love story, and countless guest stories of voices, moving objects, strange cold spots, and sightings. Number 7. Traverse City State Hospital, once called the Northern Michigan Asylum, is one of the most haunted places in Michigan. It opened in 1885 as a mental hospital and operated for over 100 years before closing in 1989. The hospital was huge, with many buildings and underground tunnels. At one time, it housed thousands of patients. Even though it was known for treating people with kindness, not all stories from the hospital are peaceful. Many people believe the spirits of patients still haunt the old buildings and tunnels. One reason for the hauntings is the number of people who died there over the years. Some patients suffered from serious mental illnesses. Back in the early days, mental health care was not as advanced as it is now. It is believed that the sadness, pain, and fear experienced by these people left a strong energy behind. Visitors often report feeling sudden chills, dizziness, nausea, and a deeply unsettling presence near the old Building 50. Strange lights flicker in darkened rooms where no power exists, and footsteps echo in empty hallways. Some hear whispered voices, EVPs, that seem to come from former patients who never left. One of the most chilling legends is the hippie tree. Rumored to be a portal to something dark, this painted tree draws people into the woods, where many feel watched or hear branches snapping though no one is there. Another grim tale involves a priest who hanged himself in the chapel, his spirit now tied forever to the site. Today, the old hospital is partly renovated and called the Village at Grand Traverse Commons. Some of the buildings have been turned into shops, restaurants, and apartments. Still, the stories of ghosts and strange happenings have never stopped. Many believe that the spirits of former patients are still there, unable to find peace. Number 8. The Holly Hotel, in Holly, Michigan, is widely considered one of the most haunted buildings in the state, a title earned through a long history filled with eerie events and tragic moments. Built in 1891 by John Hearst as the Hearst Hotel, it quickly became a busy railroad inn. In 1913 and again exactly 65 years later in 1978, both on January 19th and around the same hour, the hotel suffered devastating fires. These repeated tragedies are often linked to the strong spiritual energy people believe remains within its walls. Over time, guests and staff have reported many strange phenomena. One of the most common signs is the scent of cigar smoke even when no one is smoking. Some say this is Hearst's ghost, still protecting the hotel he built. Another frequent presence is Nora Kane, a former hostess. Visitors claim to smell her perfume and sometimes hear soft music or see her figure near the bar or in hallway photos. The hotel also shares stories of a playful girl's spirit. She is said to appear in the kitchen or near banquet stairs, giggling, moving utensils, and sometimes seen during seances in the 1990s. Even the Hearst's dog Leona is rumored to haunt the place, with reports of barking and brushing against guests' legs. Paranormal investigators agree the hotel is loaded with spirits. In 1989, parapsychology professor Norman Goda called it a top haunted site. Ghost hunters of southern Michigan and other groups have recorded EVPs, orbs, and captured shadow figures and voices, especially in the attic and banquet areas. All these stories combine to form the unsettling truth behind the Holly Hotel's haunted reputation. Whether friendly or eerie, these repeated experiences convince many that the spirits of past owners and guests remain, drawn back by memories of laughter, tragedy, and a strong love for this building. Number 9. Old Presque Isle Lighthouse in Presque Isle, Michigan, is often called haunted, and many believe the truth behind this reputation lies with the former lightkeeper, George Paris. He and his wife Lorraine moved into the lighthouse cottage in the 1970s to run the museum and give tours, and George was well loved for his playful, friendly nature. Sadly, he died there in 1992, but his presence, many say, has not truly left. Even though the lighthouse lamp was turned off long ago, strange happenings began. At dusk and again at dawn, witnesses report seeing the old lamp glow, a golden light shining out across the lake. The Coast Guard confirmed the light's odd behavior, noting the glow could not be caused by any power source. Lorraine herself saw it one evening, pulled over by the side of the road, and was told it was impossible, yet it still lit up, then faded, repeating night after night. Some even claim a girl saw a nice old man inside the lamp room, and later identified him in a photo as none other than George Paris. Others say they glimpse a face in the lantern glass or hear a small voice greeting them. The Old Presque Isle Lighthouse stands on a lonely stretch of Lake Huron's shore, atop a peninsula with deep lake history. It's peaceful, beautiful, and the perfect setting for ghost stories. In simple terms, people believe it's haunted because the keeper who loved it so much seems to return to care for it, even after death. Strange lights, footsteps, faces in the glass, and friendly voices all point to a kind spirit still doing his job and welcoming visitors, even beyond the grave. Number 10. The Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island is often called haunted, and many believe this reputation comes from its long, mysterious past. It was built in 1887 on ground once used by Native American tribes. Workers found human remains during construction, and legend says not all of them were removed, leaving spirits still tied to the site. Since it opened, guests and staff have shared stories of strange events. Some have seen a dark, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes lurking near the theater stage. This frightening presence even knocked a maintenance man to the floor. Others report glimpses of a man in a top hat at the piano at odd hours, and women in Victorian dresses wandering the halls late at night. The island itself adds to the eerie atmosphere. The ground contains limestone that some people say may help spirits linger and become visible. Also, local guides tell of Lucy, a young girl seen at different sites on the island, including near the Grand Hotel porch, adding to the spooky reputation. Many guests share personal experiences. One person reported feeling watched in their room and sensed a presence without seeing anyone. Another recalled feeling pushed in the lobby by unseen hands. With its grand Victorian style, long history, and unsettling reports, the Grand Hotel seems like a magnet for ghost stories. In simple terms, people think the Grand is haunted because it has witnessed unusual deaths and mysterious events, and strange feelings are reported there even today. The hotel itself does not officially advertise these tales, but visitors still love to share their eerie experiences. The century of history, and unexplained sightings makes the Grand Hotel a top haunted destination in Michigan, even if it remains a beautiful, historic resort.